So I've seen this so-called fact sheet that the White House has put out and has been circulating online about USAID and the so-called wasteful programs of this agency. I finally have some time to make a video and put out my thoughts. I have a lot of jumbled thoughts in my head. I'm going to do my best to get them all out. Muskolini and Mango Mussolini, that's one of the many nicknames I have for him. Well, it's more of the former, who many are calling the co-president, the one who's really pulling the strings and using the other one as his puppet or his dummy. He wants he's been wanting to paint U.S. aid as a criminal and corrupt agency, which as many people know, but maybe some of you are still unaware, USAID had been investigating Musk for shutting off Starlink satellites in Ukraine to aid Russia. And so I don't believe it's any coincidence that was one of the first agencies he went after, even though it's really small potatoes compared to the budgets of other government departments. But this list, I mean, if they're really trying to push this narrative of USAID being corrupt, but this is the best they could come up with. I've read through the list, and I can see that there are things on there that some people won't understand. They'll confuse some people, make some people angry. And that's is of course deliberate. The people who compiled this list, that was their aim. They know how to push the buttons of certain people. They know what particular words and phrases to use. And so and it doesn't I'm sure that none of the things on this list paints anything close to the whole picture of what each of these programs is meant to do and how it helps people. And one of the things on this list, the thing about condoms, that's already been debunked as a complete lie. And the muskrat himself admitted that the amount that was supposedly spent on condoms, I think it's at $50 million. Another time it was going around that it was $100 million. I don't know who came up with that figure, but he admitted that it was a lie, and he just casually dismissed it, like, don't expect me to bat 1,000. Is pretty much what he said. You know what? This is not a game, asshole. It's if your favorite team loses, or if one of your favorite players doesn't meet your expectations, you're going to be disappointed. I understand that. I'm a sports fan. But it's not going to adversely affect your life. It's not going to adversely affect anyone's lives. People are disappointed, but they get over it and move on with their lives. The players included. They probably more disappointed than anybody, but because no one's going to suffer or die because a player makes some errors. You know, it's a leader should not make mistakes like that. The stakes are far too high. You cannot spread false information. You know, you do not spread information unless you are 100% sure that it is true and accurate. Yeah, especially when it comes to things like this, getting people to support the dismantling of an agency that does so many good work, and getting rid of this agency is going to cause suffering of Americans and people around the world. You cannot act so irresponsibly as a leader and then just be like, oh, well, don't expect me to be perfect. This is why experience and expertise matters. They matter. We've got to have people. We need and deserve people who know what the hell they're doing. It's likely that there are other lies on that list. But this is what these bad actors do. They twist and distort and gaslight and outright lie, manipulate people to influence public opinion, to support the narrative that benefits them and them only. But many of the things on that list, I can see why they could be important for certain groups of people, especially now that I've learned more about them. So just because you don't understand something doesn't mean it has no value. I mean, learn more about things. You know, USAID it's a wonderful agency that's been around for decades. It was proposed in 1961 by President Kennedy and approved by Congress. Congress allocated the funds for it. And it's such a great tool for soft power, for America's soft power around the world. And it's benefits so many people around the world, so many people who are starving, who don't have clean water or treatments for disease or prevention of disease. And it buys us a lot of goodwill around the world, which can be used to call in favors and expand our influence around the world, which benefits us greatly. And having it taken away makes us all less safe. And so, and all this goodwill that it buys us, and all this humanitarian aid that they've done, we've been getting all of that for the low price of just 0.5% of our national budget. I mean, what a bargain! But now it's gone because of greedy, self-serving bastards like Muskolini, who wants some people to believe in it. And unfortunately, some people believe that he's actually doing good, doing something that benefits the American people, that serves our interests. Yeah, it's so unfortunate that so many people are buying this bullshit of the corruption of USAID just because of a measly little list of programs that I'm sure makes up just a very small percentage of everything USAID has been doing. But people are seeing things on this list that bewilder them, So they're all too willing to agree that it must be wasteful. It must be a waste of our taxpayer money. Oh, I don't understand this or that. I don't know how this could benefit people. I didn't understand the Super Bowl halftime show. You know, I have if you're one of those people, I have two solutions for you. One, you can learn more about things you don't understand. Learning new things is always a good idea. It's not only beneficial for you, but also for the people around you. It also helps you to share newly gained knowledge and improve the minds of other people as well as your own mind. You know, and failing that, you can accept that not everything and everyone is for you. Not everything is about you. So, one of the most beautiful things about U.S. aid is how it has been serving diverse groups of people around the world. Diversity is one of the greatest things that makes this rock we all live on beautiful. But yeah, some people just can't see beyond themselves or beyond their own groups, outside of their little bubbles. And it's unfortunate if you refuse to grow and learn and change. It's such a disservice to yourself, because it keeps you in a perpetual state of emotional immaturity and whiny brattiness. You know, another solution for you is to understand that U.S. aid workers, many of them have been working with this agency for many years. They know their jobs well. They have some of them probably have decades of experience. So they know more than you. It's important for you to realize that they know more than you about what they do. And you think you can sit there and be an armchair quarterback and think you know more than they do about what they do. One of the great things about humanity is that we all have our own knowledge and talents and particular skill sets, and you can either believe that we complement each other, or you can act like a whiny brat and be like, oh, you think you're better than me, you think you know more than me. Many people are now going to suffer and starve and die. And also, many people here in this country are going to be adversely affected, particularly farmers. That $2 billion of sales is now wiped out. U.S. aid had been purchasing many things from U.S. farmers every year. So now those farmers are going to suffer. Many are going to lose their farms. U.S. farmers have been providing 41% of food delivered by U.S. aid. Yeah, $340 million of shipments have now been paused. That's over 680,000 tons. So now the world's poor are starving, food is rotting, and U.S. farmers are screwed. And on top of all that, staff reductions and spending freezes have put hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars at risk of misuse and waste. And now Doge, which I think I'm going to pronounce as douche. Muskolini and his boy band of Shitler youth, these young boys who aren't even old enough to have fully developed brains and who idolize Muskolini, if the goal of a douche is to reduce waste and save taxpayer dollars, then why not? Why go after such a small agency like USAID first? They were a threat to him, threatening to expose his corruption. It's all about him. And now he's gone after the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which protects so many people from being taken advantage of from predatory banks and lenders and other companies that are just out to scam people out of their money. This CFPB has a budget of $800 million, but it has put $21 billion back into the pockets of American consumers. I mean, what's a pretty good return for $800 million to $21 billion? And so why go after an agency that benefits people so greatly? Well, because it doesn't benefit the oligarchs who want to take everything from us. And now the NIH, National Institutes of Health and Scientific Studies, are being shut down. And this, like I was saying before, just because you don't understand something doesn't mean it doesn't have value. I know there are some scientific studies that don't make sense to many people, at least not at first. And an example of this would be when a Canadian scientist was studying the saliva of a Gila monster. If that was all you knew, I can see how that you wouldn't understand why this study was important. But that study is how we got Ozempic. The scientists discovered a particular hormone in the saliva of the lizard that led to the development of this drug that has benefited a lot of people. So it's things like that is why we need our scientists to do what they do. Well, if the muskrat was really interested in getting rid of wasteful programs or agencies, then why did he hire a team of programmers instead of accountants? And why is a douche not welcoming oversight? Why are they locking people out of federal buildings and not letting people in to observe what they're doing? And now in the past few days, the muskrat has claimed that he'll provide his own oversight. He'll police himself. Well, that is like trusting a raccoon to let you know who's been ravaging the garbage. And speaking of waste, the orange clown who thinks he's the real president, all of his trips to Florida so far since the inauguration have cost taxpayers $10 million. And his trip to the Super Bowl cost taxpayers between $15 and $20 million. And he left early. You know why he was the first president to attend the Super Bowl? Because other presidents didn't want to waste taxpayer money on attending the Super Bowl. And douche itself just got $7 million of taxpayer money just for 1 week of its expenses. So, and we're supposed to believe that they really care about waste? You know, the douche frat boys have gained access to sensitive data, which should terrify all of us. And one of them joked about wiping servers after getting fired for leaking a security firm's info to a competitor. And Muskolini himself has huge conflicts of interest. He got $3.3 billion in government contracts last year alone. He signed $13 billion in government contracts over the past 5 years. Defense contracts. And so if Douche was really serious about reducing government waste, why are they not going after the big fish, the Defense Department, the Pentagon, which has failed its annual audit the past 7 years? There's a huge pile of waste in the Defense Department, which they are conveniently ignoring. Instead, Muscolini wants to go after smaller agencies that use up far less of the national budget because they are a threat to him personally. Like I mentioned before, the USAID investigating him, investigating Starlink. There have been complaints from CFPB. There have been violations and fines for SpaceX from the Department of Transportation. You know, it is illegal for a special government employee to do government work that affects his own financial interest. The call is coming from inside the House. You know, Republicans, and I use that word loosely because the Republican Party doesn't really exist anymore. MAGA has taken it over. But even before then, Republicans didn't know how to govern. They still don't. It's been happening time and time again for decades. Republicans cause a big mess, and Democrats have to come in and clean it up. I mean, just look at the numbers of each. Compare the Republican and Democrat administrations over the past 40 years or so. Look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie. They will tell you that Republicans, while they can win elections, they can use shady tactics to win elections. You know, once they win, they really don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't see themselves as servants of the people they represent. But Democrats do, by and large, see themselves as public servants. And they have continually had to clean up the messes that Republicans have created. So many of these Republican so-called leaders, I mean, don't confuse leadership with a lust for power. They are not the same thing, and they are not compatible. These self-serving, greedy politicians out only to serve themselves and their wealthy donors. They don't give a rat's ass about helping working class Americans. They don't care what happens to us. and that they don't care about anything until it affects them personally. Case in point, with the Senate confirmation hearing for RFK Jr. as head of HHS. Mitch McConnell spoke up and finally said something that many reasonable people agree with. Is that he said that vaccines work. I mean, he suffered from polio as a child, and I think I'm trying to remember his exact words. I said, vaccine cures do not need to be relitigated. Vaccines have been proven time and time again to be effective. So he made it clear that he completely disagrees with this narrative, like that RFK Jr. and others have been pushing, that we should be questioning vaccines, and we can't trust them, which is all bullshit. Mitch McConnell is finally showing signs of having a spine, because he won't be running for another term. So he doesn't have to worry about that now. But he doesn't get a pass because he said one reasonable thing. He's been in a position several times to stop this madness that we're going through now, and to stop the madness that we've already been through. But he failed us. And douche is now firing employees of the National Nuclear Safety Administration who handle the safety of our nuclear weapons. They really do not care about keeping us safe. They really don't care about anything but continuing to get their tax breaks, which expire this year, which is why Muskolini is so desperate to cut so much money from the budget, so he can keep getting his tax breaks and keep paying nothing in taxes, like so many of his other billionaire friends want. That would it would go a long way toward solving our national debt. If the wealthiest 1%, or even the wealthiest 0.1%, would pay their fucking fair share of taxes. I mean, just a 2% tax on billionaires would fund so many things, and it wouldn't affect their lifestyles at all. But Muscolini wants to be the world's first trillionaire, and he wants to go to Mars and instead of to therapy, which is where he really should go. Or he could where he really should be is in jail, where he can get the therapy he needs. But while the president in name only may think he's king of America, he wants to be king of America, the muskrat wants to be king of the world. Just because someone is wealthy doesn't mean they're smart. It doesn't mean they can be trusted with power. It doesn't mean they know what they're doing. The muskrat is wealthy because he has received a large part of his wealth has come from government contracts that he has gotten for the work that people under him do. He himself he has not created anything. He has not invented anything. He has just taken credit for things. He started out with getting a big chunk of change from the bank of mom and dad. And sure, he's grown his wealth into billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars, but that doesn't make him a genius. Don't assume that just because someone is wealthy, that means they're a genius. Muskolini wants people to believe that he's a genius, but I've heard from people who have met him who say he's actually quite stupid. This country has contributed greatly to his wealth, and now he's trying to destroy it. Yeah, he is just as much, if not more so, of a liar and a fraud as is his puppet in the Oval Office. Neither of them are good businessmen. Muscolini nearly destroyed Twitter, which has lost 75% of its value since he purchased it. And the mangled mango has run so many businesses into the ground. People have been believing that he's a good businessman because he played one on a game show. And people from NBC have recently come out and apologized for presenting him as a good businessman when they knew he wasn't. But they wanted the public to think so they could sell their show, The Apprentice. My God. Thanks a lot for that, assholes. But even if they were good businessmen, government is not a business. Okay, and we all of us want to root out waste and get rid of government waste, but there are far better ways to do it. When Biden was still in office, a lot of government waste had already been rooted out, and efforts were being made to address it. And so it's not necessary to completely shut down agencies that have been doing good work. This is hurting so many people. All these government employees, these civil servants, these humanitarian workers are suddenly finding themselves unemployed, and they're locked out of their computers, and they have little or no direction or instructions. They don't know what to do, and they've been offered these buyouts. But how much money is it going to cost to pay for all these buyouts? I mean, that douche is saying that they're trying to get rid of waste. Well, how much are they really saving if they're just going after these smaller agencies that make up a much smaller percentage of the budget? And then they also have to pay all this money for these buyouts. I mean, when it's all said and done, I don't think I don't see how all this is going to be worth it. Thankfully, judges are stepping up and stopping some of this abuse. If you're one of those people who still believes that douche is doing good work and helping the working class Americans, helping reduce our taxes, please understand that all they care about is continuing the tax breaks for billionaires to keep putting more and more money into their pockets and taking more and more away from us. Our taxes are not going to go down. They're not doing anything to bring grocery prices down. So if you're still buying the right-wing propaganda and talking points about how all this is going to be good for us. You know, these right-wing, whatever you watch or listen to, these right-wing news programs or podcasts, or the right-wing politicians, they do not have your interest at heart. All they care about is manipulating you for ratings and profits. And in the case of politicians, also votes and donations. They say they will keep saying what they know makes you angry, what they know riles you up, because it keeps you coming back for more. And all they care about is you continuing to give them more attention and more ratings and put more money into their pockets. And so they don't care about solutions for any of the problems we face. Why would they want these things to be solved? When your anger is what keeps them, makes them richer and richer. Why would they want that to change? It's like a pharmaceutical company makes up a disease and then sells you a cure, an expensive cure. You know, they make up a disease and they make it sound terrifying to you, and then they push this expensive drug that they claim will cure it. Or perhaps a better analogy would be if a doctor knows about a cure, but won't tell you about it, won't tell you the truth, because they want you to keep coming back to them for more treatment, more drugs, to keep putting more and more money into their pocket. You know, they I can't stress this enough. They don't care about you. If they're also selling supplements or selling self-promoting merchandise, then be extra wary of them. They're going to keep selling their bullshit as long as people keep buying it. So stop buying it. Too many people think this is about owning the libs, while not realizing that they're being hurt, or they're going to be hurt by the people and things they have voted for. And they like to accuse us, liberals, of being divisive just for actively opposing the people and things they support. Well, don't expect us to just lie down and take abuse. We're not going to tolerate that, and you shouldn't either. You know, all the manipulation, lies, distortion, gaslighting, greed, theft, destruction. These are all things that should not be tolerated. Yeah. America has gotten back together with her abusive ex, who should be in jail. And now he has his backer with him, who's acting like he's really the leader. He's the one the shadow government leader, the one who's really pulling the strings. And he's just as abusive, if not more so, than the one who thinks he's in charge. You know, just, like I said, don't don't expect us to take this abuse. That is just far too much to ask. I'll leave you with this. You use your heads. Think about who's really benefiting from all this. Think about what this unelected foreign billionaire is getting from all this. Look at the numbers. Follow the money. That always tells the truth. And realize that the cruelty is the point.